On my recent trip to France, I had the most incredible souffle. Not a cheese souffle, but a crab souffle. Very luxurious, and it's really for a special occasion. Now I'm going to show you my standard souffle recipe, and the only difference is just a few tweaks with the crab, some lemon zest and chives. Now to start any good savoury souffle, you need a bechamel. So in a pot, we'll add some butter. I've got about 40 grams of butter to 40 grams of plain flour. So just let that melt, and as soon as it starts to become a little bit bubbly, in with our flour. So about 40 grams of flour too. So give that about 30 seconds, keep stirring it, and then we can start adding the milk. So in with our milk, and I always say add a little bit, then a little bit more. If you add it all at once, you'll get some lumps, and we don't want the lumps. So slowly add that in. And then when it starts to look like it is getting too lumpy, all you have to do is change over to a whisk. So some more, give that a whisk, and you'll see every time you add that milk, it absorbs it and becomes thick again, which is totally normal. And a little bit of elbow grease here, and another little splash of milk, and that should do it. So you can see how it's starting to form now, and it's thick. You do want it to come up to the boil, as it is now, just to cook off slightly. Fantastic, and I'll turn the heat off. Now that needs to cool down while we get onto the eggs. So I've got 4 egg yolks, that'll go into the bechamel as it cools down, and 4 egg whites. So you separate them. The egg whites go into a bowl of a mixer, and I'm going to whisk this just with a small pinch of salt until we've got stiff peaks. Now you can do this in a mixer or you can do this by hand. I prefer the mixer, a little easier for me. All right, we have lovely stiff peaks here. This is what we're after. See how it's quite firm? You need that so we get a lift with our souffle. So before we fold in our egg whites, let's finish off this white sauce. So I've cooled it down slightly because I need to add our egg yolks. So 4 egg yolks, and just with our whisk, we're going to mix it in. You do want it to cool down or else it'll start turning into scrambled eggs. So mix that in, and that's going to give us a lovely rich base. To this, I'll add some nutmeg. So freshly grated nutmeg if you can. And some cheese. Now I'm using some gruyere cheese. You only need about 100 to 120 grams of cheese. You don't want the cheese to overpower the souffle because it's all about the crab. So 100, 120 is plenty. And gruyere is milder in flavour, so that's why I like to use the gruyere. And then we'll incorporate that. And we'll pop that to one side while I finely chop some chives. They've got a subtle, mild onion flavour. So we'll just finely chop them in. You could also use some dill if you like, or even better, some tarragon would be really nice with a seafood like crab. I also love when this comes out of the oven, you see the speckles of the chives, really great. And crab and lemon, best friends. I don't want to use the juice for this, just the zest, and the zest of half a lemon is plenty. Okay, now for the main event, the crab. This is stunning Australian blue swimmer crab that's been picked. Now, you can use a whole crab if you like for this, so 1 large blue swimmer crab. You could also use mud crab, or another option would be to use some raw prawn mince. That would work really nicely with this. So I'll just take the whisk out, and we just want to incorporate that lovely sweet crab meat. Okay, that's looking great. One thing I haven't done is added some salt. So a pinch of salt to this. Don't overdo the salt. Crab will be slightly salty, and the cheese too, but it does need just a little bit. Okay, now for our egg whites. I'll add 1/3 now, and I won't be as gentle. We just want to loosen the mixture up to start with. And once that's incorporated, we'll be really gentle with the next third. And slowly, slowly fold that in and really keep as much air in this as possible. And that's the beauty of a fantastic souffle. Now I've prepared my dish, lots of butter, so it comes out easily as you scoop it out. So I'm going to finish incorporating all of these egg whites into the dish and then into the oven, hot oven, 200 degrees. look how puffy this stunning souffle is. And as we know, soufflés don't stay up that long. It will start to go down, so you want to eat it as soon as possible. All right, it's time to dig in. I want to show you how fluffy this is in the center, and it smells so good because of the crab. Whoa, look at that. It's perfectly cooked. Place that on a plate. I always remember Mum making soufflés for us, and I just can hear her right now screaming from the kitchen, "Quick, everyone, get to the table, the soufflé's ready." Because as you can see, it goes down so fast, but it still tastes just as good. Oh, it's hot. A simple cheese soufflé is magic in itself, but then you add sweet blue swimmer crab and it turns into something very luxurious. This is a serious treat. So lovely. Next special occasion, make this. And make sure everyone gets to the table on time.